Bush administration is pushing and pushing hard. A partnership between the United States and Mexico and Canada with a goal of what it calls integration by 2010. This partnership among three nations is being discussed at the highest levels of the three governments at the urging of the largest multinational corporations. But it is barreling ahead with absolutely no congressional oversight, no voter approval, out of sight completely of the American people, and as far as we can determine, without any constitutional authority whatsoever. Christine Romans reports.
Congressman Virgil Goode wants to stop the Security and Prosperity Partnership.
It will lead to a union between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and it will greatly harm the sovereignty of the United States. It is part of the open borders philosophy to do away with borders, and I vigorously oppose it.
Launched in 2005, it's a dramatic government and business effort to, quote, harmonize regulations. The president promised no matter who the players are in Washington, Mexico City, and Ottawa, this bureaucracy is meant to endure.
I appreciate the commitment of the Prime Minister and the President toward a spirit of partnership to outlast whatever politics may occur.
To critics, outlasting politics means skirting Congress and the will of the American people in secrecy. It took a Freedom of Information request to find out what happened in Banff last fall. Closed to the press, the North American Forum was attended by the highest levels of business and government. The conservative group Judicial Watch found
this is a forum where the push is for taxes, the push is for open borders, the push is for investment funds for Mexico. So all the talk is on one side of the equation.
Among the notes the Pentagon released of the meeting, a goal of integration and, quote, open borders for industry and investment. North America needs to be more competitive, and yet security goals seem to interfere with this outcome. And the admission most people are not compelled by North American integration need to identify steps that demonstrate the concept and success. Numerous documents advocate open borders between and a secure perimeter around the three countries, taking what's called a continental vision. It is a vision Congressman Goode does not share. He will introduce this week a resolution opposing the Security and Prosperity Partnership. Lou?
And some mindless and uninformed people are suggesting that this is not even occurring. I saw a number of articles suggesting, well, this North American Union just isn't happening. It's a fiction, as some wild conspiracy theory. Yet it is absolutely documented. This administration continues to deny what is happening right in front of us, although it is happening with stealth and with secrecy. It's happening.
The administration has a website called spp.gov. It says it outlines myths and realities. People can check it out for themselves, but there are a lot of questions about this, Lou.
You can check out our website, too, which is about truth. We'll let the administration have its own view of that truth. Unfortunately, it seems to be one that they don't want to share with a lot of Americans for some reason. This is a very important story.
They will not come on camera to talk about it, but they will refer us to a website, but they won't come on camera to talk about
absolutely. How odd and out of character. Christine, thanks. Christine Robbins.
We are elected officials. We expect them to act on our behalf. When we get involved in cooperative frameworks with other countries for joint regulation of fisheries or rail transportation or the skies, we're basically sharing our sovereignty with that government and outsourcing some of what we give our elected officials.
As disturbing as some find SPP, there is legislation in the House introduced by Florida's Katherine Harris that closely resembles the goals of the partnership. Included in that bill is a section which calls for the securing of Mexico's southern border by the United States and Canada. Lou, that's not the border with the United States, that's the border they share with Belize and Guatemala.
The idea that the White House would respond that this is on their website, this involves intricate workings amongst the Commerce Department of this country and Canada and Mexico's, of course, a regional prosperity and security program. This is absolute ignorance. And the fact that we reported this, we should point out, when it was signed.
would be to propose NAFTA superhighway that would stretch from Texas all the way to Canada. Congress has been left largely out of the loop.
They never even heard of this. They don't know a thing about it. What's going on? Well, what's going on is a super elite are taking control.
Lawmakers who have heard are hell-bent on keeping a North American union from happening.
The interest of hard-working businesses in this country, hard-working workers in this country, and the average citizen in the United States should be placed ahead, in my opinion, of some international global theory that I think would harm the United States and most of its citizenry.
President Bush just signed the fence bill saying the borders need to be secured.
At the same time, the U.S. Department of Transportation is considering this program to open the borders wide open to Mexican truck drivers and to create a NAFTA superhighway. Even though transportation officials say they would check the licensing and backgrounds of foreign truck drivers, it would be a bureaucratic nightmare to enforce. Luke?
These three countries moving ahead, their governments, without authorization from the American people, without congressional approval, this is as straightforward an attack on national sovereignty as there could be outside of war.
And they are doing this behind closed doors, as you mentioned. Congress has been left out of the loop. People don't even know what they're coming up with. But what's clear at this point is that they are moving ahead with this North American Union and putting these plans in place. Very frightening, Lou.
Lisa, thank you very much. Lisa Sylvester.